Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. As I promised before the break, that we're going to be taking some of your calls, and calling me just right now, joining us, is Simon Nyoro from Nandi. Simon, good morning. What are your contributions towards this discussion?
I want to contribute to, since time immemorial, we have had these leaders, Kalonzo and the rest. I remember when I was in primary school, up to now I'm a pastor.
Yes.
I've had all these names around. And I've never seen any tangible progress that even they have even done in my own village.
All right.
So I'm wondering why they should come around and play with our minds that they want to be the next president.
All right.
We have small children who have been born after them, who are jobless, and they are also leaders. They have gone to school. I want to agree with lawyer Chuang that we need to try a new brand. We have to bring a new brand in 2022 and say now that these young people lead us also. The old people go home and rest. All
right. Thank you very much, Simon Nyoro there from Nandi. Now to Jeriba Bulima from Kisumu. Jeriba, good morning. Bulima, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Jerida.
Yes.
What are your thoughts or contribution to this, discussion?
Yes. Okay, my name is Jerida Bulimo. I am also a pastor. Yeah, but what I'm really thinking...
Yes.
Yeah, what I am thinking is our leaders, there is no transparency in Kenya when it comes to the time of voting.
All right.
There is no transparency and everybody knows.
Okay.
Okay. Our leaders are just greedy, that's what I can say.
All right. All right, thank you very much, Jerida Bulima there from Kisumu. I'll just come to you, gentlemen. Of course, they've raised two important issues, transparency and also, the issue of what change have you done for us, the people in the grassroots, to feel? What are your thoughts to this? What is your response to these two callers?
First of all, I would like to concur with the pastor from, was it Bomet?
Nandi.
From Nandi.
Yeah.
When he says that, some of these leaders have been in power for as long as some of us have been alive. And they have nothing to show for, that privileged position.
Yes.
Which is a pity. And the problem is that each time they keep on running back to us and whipping up tribal emotions for their own benefits and to our own disadvantage. I think it is a high time Kenyans snap out of this, hallucination, or is it being drunk or being stupefied by the tribal talk. It is a high time Kenyans realize that whenever our leaders appeal to our tribe, it's not for our good. It is for their own survival. It's for their own good. It's never for the development at the grassroots level.
All right, Dr. John.
Right. They say there's no slave without... There's no slave master without slaves. And it takes two to tango. So Pastor put it very well. He's the man in the mirror. I'm the man in the mirror who is the slave. And if we are no longer accepting or agreeable to being slaves, there will be no masters.
All right.
And so it is up to us Kenyans to cut and to say no more. I'm not going to be a slave, and therefore there will be no master. But again, just to
briefly
add on that with politicians, I've learned to lower my expectation. Kenyans need to lower their expectation.
All right, Brian.
Attaching too much value on the politics, I think, is also not doing us so good because of there are other pillars that contribute to our well-being as a people. And this, worshipping of these demigods around us is not also doing us any good to us. Yeah. Because, as the pastor said, the names of Kalonzos and Railas and Tangulas were there even when he was a small kid, and up to now he's still seeing the same names.
Right.
How do we change the equation that we see emerging emerging leaders also occupying the political space. People with new ideas, younger people who can be creative enough to bring some change. That's all what we are yearning for.
All right. Now, the march sought after unity of Luhya leaders edged closer on Sunday after Cabinet Secretaries Eugene Wamalwa and Rashid Echesa vowed to join the efforts of NASA leaders Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula.
In a rare show of unity, the Western region's political kingpins say they are working on a deal to have a united Luhya house ahead of the 2022 general election. Top politicians in the region, including Cabinet Secretary for Devolution Eugene Wamalwa, his counterpart Sports CS Rashid Echesa, echoed the need to lay the groundwork for a new Western political initiative, asserting that they are ready to work with their colleagues in the NASA coalition.
Tushukuru ndugu yetu Musalia Mudavadi, tushukuru ndugu yetu Moses Wetangula, sababu wamesema wanataka tuungane, waangalie beyond Ford Kenya, beyond ANC, na beyond forming a Luhya party.
Today's event was a follow-up to a public declaration for the formation of one party that will unite the Luhya nation by ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and Ford Kenya party leader Moses Wetangula last weekend. The unity of Western leaders is seen as a tactic to lock Mr. Odinga, who received political backing from Western in the last 3 elections, out of the 2022 presidency.
Waluhya hata tupige sisi kura sote, kwani unajua rais, lazima tukue na marafiki. Tukue na ndugu zetu hawa wa Rift Valley, tukue na mandugu zetu wale wa Central, tukue na mandugu zetu wa Mombasa. That is the only way you can form a government.
National Assembly Chief Whip Benjamin Washali termed the move as a first step towards actualizing their goal, resolving to cast aside their party affiliations and unite in mobilizing the Luhya people to unity.
Waseme sisi wanaza tuko pamoja kama vile sisi wa Jubilee tulikuwa nasema tuko pamoja, pengine hangefukuza huyu ndugu Wetangula vile walifukuza na watoto wadogo wanafukuza Weta.
Deputy President William Ruto and Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula already warming up to each other in what many analysts predict could be a strategy for the next polls. Ruto met key allies of besieged Wetangula led by Ford Kenya Secretary General Leseli Simiu days after Wetangula was ousted as Senate lead of minority. The will and the intention of the Luhya community to form one political party and have one presidential candidate come 2022 is slowly turning into a reality. Willie Lusige, KTN News, Mumias.
All right, clearly the Kamba bloc is not the only one that, wants to form a strong political party come 2022. We are seeing the Luhya here. And the problem with the Luhya is always been they never vote as one. So what makes us so sure come 2022, this time round, they will actually deliver? Philip?
I can tell you for a fact that they are not going to vote as one. And to me, that is something commendable. The fact that they have never unified under a tribal kingpin, for me, is a plus for them. It is ridiculous to talk of a Mulembe party. I mean, to what end? For what purpose? So that one of them can go and auction them off to the highest bidder in the land for good money. I think it is ridiculous, and it is a high time they, walk up and smell the coffee. If these people are coming down there to unify so that they can address the woes facing the sugar industries, then I'll tell them to go on ahead and unify. If they are going to unify so that they can help them raise from being at the bottom of the food chain here in the country, then I will tell them to go on and unify. But if the purpose of that unity is so that Musalia can go and play second fiddle to Ruto, or play second fiddle to Raila or Kalonzo, or even if it were for him to raise to the presidency, I'll tell them, trying the same thing that has failed them over and over again and expecting this, different results, that is ridiculous.
All right. So what, do they even have political value? That is Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula. What do they have to offer?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's a leading question, because I think they do.
Okay.
I don't know what the right answer could have been. Identity politics, whether it's tribalism, whether it's regionalism, whether it is the farmers, pastoralists, all these are identity politics. And I don't think that you can, with one stroke wipe out identity politics.
Okay.
So when you say tribal politics, of course it sounds archaic, but even if you go to the US, there's identity politics. Black voting Democrat because of their issues, Latinos voting Democrat because of the immigration issues, white evangelical voting Republican. Those are identity politics. Every politics will always have identity politics. So to me, it's not a big deal. It's neither here or there. It's just a matter of diversity, but we have to have identity politics. Now, do they have anything to offer? I think so. You see, the competence we have been looking for and the competence we love so much of courage is not the competence that crossed the line to presidency.
Okay.
Look at Moi. Look at Kibaki. The competence for courage that Mudavadi might not have and the Kalonzo might not have is a competence to be opposition leader. It's in opposition where you need a lot of courage. As a president, you don't need courage. You have guns, you have security, you are commander-in-chief, you have authority. So we are looking for wrong competence in these people. And to me, Mudavadi has a lot to offer because, lawyers have never voted together. That is both bad and good. But circumstances can push them because at some point their disunity was working for them. It actually worked for them more than tribes which were uniting. So now if they find that uniting will work, they can unite. We have to give them benefit of doubt and assume. Let us just assume that they are intelligent people who will look for what is in their best interest.
All right, I see you nodding your head, but before you get to that, of course, we've seen the Senate Speaker, Ken Lusaka, come out and saying that this unity is ill-advised. What are your thoughts on this?
I think I'm also concerned about why we are championing for unity at community level while we are supposed to be vouching for unity at national level. How, I'm wishing we have a leader who unifies all these communities, all these smaller communities into one formidable outfit called Kenya. And that's the kind of leader that we would want to see, who goes to Kambani, picks the whole block, goes to Rift Valley, picks the whole block, Central Kenya, Western, and put them in one pillar called Kenyan pillar. That one looks still a big mirage for us. But talking about the Luhya community, to me, I think it's still a big mirage owing to the various issues which are within the community itself. Because of the various dialects, of course, you do not expect Mudavadi Amaragoli to go to Bukusu land and express himself, well in Bukusu, just like Wetangula would do that. And he would go to Bokusaland and express himself in Swahili, just like Kalonzo would do when he goes to Western, or Ruto goes to Western. And therefore, that is a special problem within the Luhya community because of the various many dialects. And I'm told they have almost 17. And to put, that kind of gel together or glue that brings them together, it's a huge challenge. And history has dictated that the Luhyas never voted as a bloc in any time. And I'm not expecting this 2022 to be the same because of the same challenges that I've talked about. And also, remember, there's also the role of divisive politics that has to be brought in by those who do not want to see a Luhya unity because it doesn't hurt anything, as Lusaka would want to say. Luhya unity will only be good unity if it's at national level. Gelling together with other community for the good cause of this country is what we would want to vouch as a people. But again, you've seen that Wamalwa has also, gotten into the bandwagon of vouching for Luhya unity, which, to me, I think it's something that perhaps, would raise some eyebrows because I think one of the issues that CSS are normally told is that they do not need to put themselves in the political, terrain because of issues of conflict of interest. But if it's the unity that Wamalwa has actually vouched for, if it's a unity that will also catapult, the community to economic empowerment, to me, I support him 100%. And again, when you talk about Musalia and Wetangula working together as a community and also, pulling that plug together, to me, I think it's the right direction. But we also have to be aware that these people are also working for their so-called self-political aggrandizement. If it's about empowering Wafula and Nafula, to me, it's a good direction. But if it's about, you know, making a name and still creating a political aggrandizement about themselves, then to me that is still politics of yesteryears.
All right, and one of my earlier, panels, one of them raised the issue of, so who is going to lead this Mulembe unity? I mean, we have Musalia, we have Moses Wetangula, so who is going to lead?
And that is where that is where you will see disunity. That is where everything will fall apart. Right now, they are all, friends since that question is yet to arise.
Yeah.
But once it arises, I'm sure Kalonzo, I'm sure Musalia, Wetangula, Eugene will fall apart very quickly because each one of them brings a different agenda on the table. Eugene, of course, is trying to pull the lawyers to William Ruto. Musalia and Wetangula are trying to maintain some semblance of leadership.
Yes.
And each has a different agenda, and these agendas are bound to cause disunity amongst them. What I would like to take to support what Brian has said, Musalia and Wetangula started talking of this unity immediately they were left hanging by Raila Odinga the other day. This is purely for their own political survival. Unless and until they come up with talks of unity based on issues, I can tell you for a fact there will be no Luhya unity. It is because Luhyas are so many, it is a big, they cover such a large geographical area, each of which faces very diverse problems.
Okay.
And like I've said before, their main advantage has been that as a community, they have usually voted based on issues. Luhyas are the least tribal of the tribes in this country. Mm-hmm. They have sided, they voted, Maragoli used to vote for Moi, while the Bukusus were with the opposition. They got their turn in government. It is the same, and it will be the same in 2022. And I would encourage them to continue down the same path. Vote along issues. Look at yourself, look at what would improve you, look at what would improve your family, look at what would improve your community. Don't look at don't listen to the lies from your leaders. Don't be means by which they get that power which they so much crave.
All right. So briefly, gentlemen, I'll start with you, Dr. Ojwang. What should the Luhya nation, learn from previous elections?
Right. No, I don't, we can avoid the straitjacketing.
Okay.
Kenya is not a melting pot. Okay. It wasn't meant to be a melting pot. If you read the Constitution, it starts by saying, proud of our diversity. And so, we are being greatest pretenders that people don't vote according to tribe. Which Kenya do we live in? Okay. That is our norm. And you have to operate from the known to the unknown. So you can't start from the unknown unless you are doing an armchair research or academic exercise. The known is that Kenyans vote according to tribe. That is our context. Is that good? Is that bad? That is academic issue. Yeah. That is the reality. Therefore, I think what they need to do is what they are doing, that they are talking as a community. And as the community, remember my first say that cross the river together as a crowd, and crocodile will not eat any of you. Whether it is because of the trauma of Raila forsaking them, whether it is because of whatever, that to me is not the issue. The issue is, at this point, lawyers are working together. Now, two heads are a monster. And that is your question. Yeah. Who is between Mudavadi and Wetangula? I think even in the pecking order within the NASA agreement, you saw that Mudavadi was given precedent and prominence over Wetangula. If the presidency was to come, Mudavadi was to be the prime minister. And so that order is very clear. None other than the Luhyas did a sampling and found that Mudavadi was the spokesman and installed by leaders including Atwoli. And therefore, this is a very ordered process. It's not chaotic. Mudavadi is in front and Luhyas are uniting.
Okay, right. Briefly, final words.
They say the moment housefly shall get serious, it shall give us honey because it has played games for so many years, and it is the right time that a housefly gets serious. And I'm saying this because the Luhyas with the advantages, numeric advantage that it has as a community, the moment they shall get serious in terms of gelling together themselves as a community, having that Luhya unity, they shall be treated as serious community when it comes even to picking a presidential candidate or even a running mate for that matter. Because if they prove to be that serious in terms of putting themselves as a pact,
yes,
even the likes of Ruto will want to come to Western Kenya and pick a running mate from there. But if they keep on playing these games, if they keep, just being disjointed as they have been in terms of voting patterns,
yes,
then they shall also be treated the same year in, year out. But also, when you look at Kalonzo and Mudavadi, a team that has been touted before 2017 elections as a winning team, that could only work when Raila says, Mudavadi, Kalonzo, ticket tosha. But if they are left, two of them, they still have a huge task to do in terms of beating the likes of Ruto and the company. That will depend also on who Ruto settles as his running mate.
Right.
That will be a huge competition that we are likely to be treated when it comes to Kenyan politics and competition. But all the same, as I wind up on this, when we talk about unity of the Luhya nation, we also have to be pretty aware that there are other machinations outside, other factors such as the Lusakas, the Eugene Wamalos, who would milk huge advantages if there was no Luhya unity. If the status quo remains the same, the likes of Lusaka and others would still continue milking or getting advantage from the situation as it is.
Okay.
But the beauty of it is that if it's Luhya unity meant to empower the people of Western Kenya, so be it.
All right, I'll let you have the final word briefly. What can the Luhya community learn?
What I would tell them is that they need to come up with a list of the problems afflicting them or the issues that they need addressed and approach their leaders with those issues.
Right.
Those who can solve them, they should be guaranteed of their support. Those who only want to be on the ballot for their own self-aggrandizement, then they should be cut off. Lastly, I would like to celebrate the lives and times of Winnie Mandela. I don't know what tribe she was. Of course, if it was one of us, they would have started by telling us it was Philip Magala, Pokot, so on and so forth. She is to be emulated. She's done so much for our people and Africa as a whole.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. To my immediate left, Philip Magal, who's an advocate. Next to him is Dr. Duncan Ojwang, an advocate and Dean School of Law at African Nazarene, and Brian Mutie, who is a government expert and also a law scholar. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We also asked you, what are your thoughts on Kamba and Luhya leaders' respective unity efforts ahead of 2022 State House race? And some of just the feedback that I'm getting from you. One, Charles Kule says, who cares that the leaders want? Who cares what the leaders want? Let the people of Kenya from Ukambani region decide what they want on their own. I think they have brains to do just that. The leaders could be Republican for art's sake. It is time inception politics to end in this country. Tribal alignment, BW Karani says, tribal alignment wouldn't take us anywhere. Limited space of cooperation. Well, we tried them, but they betrayed us. Time is up for them. Agri-Food Chemics EA says, Kenya is the only country in the world where campaigns for the next election start immediately after elections have been held and concluded. This is just some of your feedback that I'm getting here. You can always keep the conversation going even as we take a break here on Morning Express. We want to, of course, take a break, and of course, we will be coming back with more business news and your money. You can always keep the conversation going. Tag me, tweet me directly at Ashley Mazuri or at KTN News. The hashtag to use is Morning Express. We leave you with the weather forecast.